Frankly, it doesn't look good to me, having seen the history of our old relationship with the United States. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Long, long history in that sometimes out of compulsion, the two countries decided to work together. Strategic relationship, it never was. The closest that it ever came to become, a mutually beneficial relationship was when the Soviets were there. We had the same aims, we had the same objectives, we respected each other's terms, and that worked out pretty well. But the fact is that there are two different countries in all respects, in size, in power, in their worldview, what their intentions are. In this particular region, when they operate, their interests cannot be reconciled with any of the regional countries. Leave aside Pakistan, not even in India. Then maybe you can find some common denominator somewhere. And that is what bothers me the most, that they come back time and again, despite the fact that people here have seen as to how it happens, because they play their cards very well, especially through whatever we call the economic hitman, the strategic hitman, their lobbies, because they keep scaring the leadership. If we did something against the interests or against the displeasure of United States, we will be in trouble. People like me have lost our argument because I have time and again said every time we decided to act against their desires, we succeeded. Right from beginning 62 war, after that we reached out to China. America was not happy. We still did that, and the Americans came to us and asked us to take Kissinger over the hump to peace. Nuclear, we all know that nuclear program was pursued against the wishes of the United States and its, allies. And Afghanistan, the second time, the 20 years that they were there, our policy and their policy was at odds. We all know that. But we still continued with that for the reasons that I've already said. Incidentally, that brings me to the point that you've raised, that why did they have? They had no choice. The Taliban played their cards so very well that in the last 10 years, they were not only fighting against the NATO forces, they were also getting money from $500 million or more every year from NATO to provide the convoy security, they're cutting opium, they're cutting development. So that's how well they had played their card. And they had no option. If they had to leave, whom they would hand over. So that policy again, right now, Iran seems to be one of the hot subjects. People keep forgetting that then the Americans were there in Afghanistan, uh, were working with us in Afghanistan during the Soviet period. They asked us to sue a relationship with Iran because of that hostage crisis. Remember that famous one, 444.
Yes.
And the people here had the guts to say, sorry, because of you, we are not going to cut off our relationship with the neighbor. We live together. And the result is that for the last 50 years, the Iranian interests in the US are looked after by the Embassy of Pakistan. And right now, because of all the developments in Middle East, I think one of the very few good things that we've done is that we have not done any harm to the Iranians uh, in in so many different fields that they are pursuing. And I am very sure that the worst, if it comes again, that we will be standing with the Iranians because that is where the regional interest comes. Now, with that type of leadership, when I tell them that, look, we can right now, whenever they ask us to do something, and if we, because of our interest, say no, they are very likely to say, okay, we understand. Bagram, if anyone thinks that we're going to help them get to Bagram, one is living in a fool's paradise. Taliban, of course, will not give it up, but there is no way that one is going to. There are other aspects of the relationship the with the Americans. I cannot help but quote Kissinger, who said, "Being our friends may be dangerous, maybe our enemies may be dangerous, but if anyone is friendly with the United States, it's fatal, it's dead." There are enough number of examples of that. If despite that, our people think that they are going to get friendly, by all means go ahead, do some trade, do the IMF, whatever you have to do, must do. But to believe that they can be friendly, that they have any good at their heart for us, that's befooling us beyond it. And that brings me to that point I think someone raised about terrorism. Terrorism, the biggest entity that sponsors terrorism worldwide is United States. Daesh is just one example. If anyone has any doubts, I can try and give them many examples, many proofs that Daesh is a sponsored group by terrorists. Now, if that be so, for us to go gaga about our new, found relationship with the United States is foolhardy. Free lunches, branches there, the receptions there do not mean anything. Less tariff means nothing. The people who have been imposed higher tariffs like India and China will probably negotiate it much better. Probably will come out because they are playing the hardball, they're playing diplomacy as it should be done. But if you just simply agree to whatever is thrown at you without negotiation, like Musharraf did after 9/11, then you actually come out at the wrong end of it. Now that is about the relationship. I can go on and on and on about, the dynamics of relationship with United States. Right now,
But
if you take,
about the Bagram, you mentioned Bagram Air Base. How
yeah,
would Pakistan react to, let's say, a US presence again in Afghanistan? There's a lot of buzz about it. People are talking about it. Obviously, the Taliban are disagreeing, but how would Pakistan position itself if such a
no one
situation?
is going to support another American military presence in the neighborhood. And that includes Bagram because Bagram is not meant for any, charitable purposes. We declared it, and that is something that was also known. Bagram is there to keep an eye on rogue states like Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan, China, and so forth. So no support will be given. Mercifully, there is no chance that they can come back to Bagram because Taliban will not allow that. So the Bagram is a non-issue. Like there is another non-issue that was raised, and I would get very frustrated when people talk about it time and again. So yes, talking about Durrani line and the international borders and recognition may be all right for the diplomats. Having seen how the Afghans over a generation, over more than 70 years, have treated the Durrani line, they have not recognized it, but they have also not violated it. And for the simple reason, the tribes on both sides are quite comfortable with this. They're getting the best of both sides. So why should they? In any case, borders like these are becoming redundant. And for us to insist that, well, this is the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, is not a very wise thing. So I think the Durrani line is also again a non-issue. Some people here keep insisting on that, but then there is nothing that people like me can do. There are enough number of people who would say we have to talk about relationship with Afghanistan without these pinpricks and without these irritants, because they are not going. And probably the key question that many of you have been asking is how to deal with it. Well, they're there. Everyone says they're there. They are not the best group. We know that the leadership problem, it's Mullah Habatullah, who is against the women education, otherwise the most of the people in the Taliban hierarchy are for it, but for the sake of that unity in ranks, because they can't afford to get split, they'll just go along for some time. They're not forever. Nothing is forever. So That also will change. Afghanistan will come back. This is to its natural moorings, which included a very big role for the women. More professors at Kabul University than the men. Now, that is the history. More assertive housewives than anywhere else. That is the history. That will come back, but of course it will take a long time, and God knows whether it will happen because of the Taliban change and change of leadership, but that is bound to happen. We, for the time being, because of the only game in town now right now is Taliban. And my submission here to the people in power is deal with them, don't tell them what to do. Just ask them because that's their part. What is it that Pakistan can do for a country that has been in war for 40 years? And now, if there is anything that we can do for it, we have done just the opposite, and that is my